Why did you make us late again, Jay?
I didn't. I was sat here ready to go. You made me stand up and look over there to make it look like I'm the reason.
I don't think we've quite got the angle right on this new setup that we're mucking around with. You're a little bit chopped off.
Yeah, because you want
Come
to be all about you.
Come to me a bit, Jay. It's a little bit better. Okay, that'll do. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday afternoon. You beautiful, beautiful human beings. We're moving our little podcasty area, we're moving it around and trying new setups with chairs and sofa to try and make it a bit more like a sociable chat when we have people here and stuff like that. I need to do a behind the scenes video soon of the studio, the whole entire studio. So we'll do that at some point. And maybe I can show you guys what we're doing, but I think we're going to get our guy in with the wood to make extra bits of wood and stuff.
Yeah, and then you'll build something.
Yeah. Don't worry, for this particular stream at least, we won't be touching on female custodies. What we're going to do instead is the Liam and Joe AoS show. So this is the second in the series so far, and what we're going to try and do going forward is on the majority of Tuesdays, well, almost all Tuesdays, unless we have a special guest here, is we're going to be doing an AoS live stream, Joe and I talking about the new version of AoS. This means it's an additional new show. It's in addition to all of the current 40k content. It's not replacing any 40k content. It's not instead of the Liam and Joe show on Thursdays. It's not instead of the 40k show on Wednesday nights. But it does mean we can talk about new AoS stuff. And they have had a couple of articles out since we last spoke about new AoS, which Joe has confessed just before stream, he hasn't actually read them at all.
No, I'm pretty terrible when it comes to reading Walk on my articles.
Yeah.
I make sure I do the Sunday evening one to see what's coming out the week after.
Yeah.
But I don't keep up with them during the day. It's terrible, really.
I mean, you don't have to.
No.
But and what's nice now is you'll be able to live react now, quite literally. So I have read them. You'll now be able to live react to these, which is quite good. So we're going to go over a couple of articles that Warcom have announced recently around brand new AoS-based rules. And that'll be the Liam and Joe AoS show. And then tonight, chat, we're going to have Orcs versus Custodians. And at the moment, Joe and I have yet to decide who has the pleasure of running the Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah, it's not a case of, it's a case of we both wouldn't mind playing them, and we don't mind the other person playing them.
I kind of want, so there's, okay, for me, this is the two factors right here, chat. Maybe you can help me decide, right? On the one hand, I really want to play them because I want to troll chat, and I want to call it Captain General Tracy Valores, and I want it to be Shelley the Shield Maiden, the Shield Captain.
The Shield Maiden.
Shelley the Shield Captain, right? That's what I want to do, just to really annoy people, because I'm a bit more grown up than that. On the other hand, chat, what we are celebrating today, which we were supposed to celebrate on Thursday until you decided to chin the streams off.
Is it Muscle Mummies?
We are celebrating Joe being employed by the channel for 2 whole years. 2 whole years, Joe.
And that's why I cry all the time.
Which means that for both the Liam and Joe AoS show and for the evening stream, we should probably get 200 members per stream to celebrate 2 years. It's thematic. It's not about being greedy. Yeah. It's thematic. It's not about being greedy or the fact that we have no streams at all on Thursday because Joe and I aren't here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah?
We're just not here.
So let me know what you think, chat, in the comments. Obviously, it's better to super chat because chat's moving really fast. Because of a legend...
Jonathan Mercado. I don't know if is he John?
I don't think...
He's not
he
Jonathan.
Might be a Jonathan.
Is John short for anything?
I don't know.
John Holio.
Yeah. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
John Equa.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love you, John. And you've put us a quarter of the way, including CJ with 1, Stick Monkey with 5, and Schooner with 5 also.
John, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much, mate. I love you. You're a hero. You're an absolute hero.
And thank you, John Ricardo, for your super chat. It's only 2 years. Feels like a fucking decade. Honestly, it does.
So thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, man. You're a legend. Yeah. If you have just been gifted a membership, ! Discord, get yourself on the Great Hall Discord server. It's full of wonderful people in Starius. You also get access to early access to the podcasts when they go up, the interviews, the Great Hall Sagas. Next one will be with Mr. the Peachy. I'll be editing that within the next week some point. It's quite a long edit. It's going to take me 6-7 hours to put that one together. But more importantly, say a massive thank you to John. John, we call him Daddy because he is the daddy of the channel. John is an absolute fucking legend, and he hates it when I do this, and I talk about him very, very nicely. Yeah. But he consistently turns up and drops 20 or 50 gifted memberships. What an absolute fucking legend. I love you. We need to get that photo of him in the toilet. on the back
What,
of the
him
door.
on the toilet?
No, him. We just took a photo of him on the back of the door.
Yeah.
So every time you go in there and you go, I know what you're like. Go Google incognito. I know what you're doing. We need his photo to look at you with shame instead.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so let us know who you want to play tonight. Maybe I should poll it. I haven't got the keyboard.
Yeah.
I'll poll it on the channel in a minute. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit all the magical YouTube buttons for us. So hit the like button if you like the content, smash subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video. Let's see. I'm going to try and do something fancy here, Joe. I wonder if I can make this work.
In 2 years, by the way, you've gone from buying me Monster to not buying me Monster.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to buy you Monster anymore, Joe.
To celebrate 2 years, he did buy me a bacon and egg baguette, though.
I did, and you seem to enjoy that
From
one.
from the van outside the door. It was incredible.
I can't seem to do a poll on here. That's weird. Why wouldn't it let me poll on my phone? All right, fuck it. Can't do it. Done.
I'm sure you can get a poll up on your phone.
Wee. I can't poll it, chat.
Do you want me to get? I can't, but then I can't see the screen.
Do you want to just grab the keyboard? It's wireless.
I'm so not graceful.
Let's see if I can do it on here. I can't do it on here either. Memberships. I don't want to join my own channel. That'd be silly, wouldn't it, Jay?
You could join your own channel.
No, I can't do it on here either. I need to do the actual keyboard. I can go do it, but you have to talk to chat on your own for a minute.
But what are we going to talk about?
Whatever you want.
We could talk about female custodies.
Don't do that, Jay.
We haven't got
Jesus
enough.
Christ.
We need more. There's not enough people watching. They can smell blood in the water. That's the thing. Is the thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I, for one, love the idea of female custodies.
I just, like I said to them on the stream last night, I just hate the way they did it.
I have no issue with female custodians whatsoever. I just feel like it was really lazy of Games Workshop. And they're... Yeah, if you send me the studio address, I will send you the monster.
John, you've been here. You've got the studio address.
You've got it. You could also... Are we allowed to say the name of the building?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't want to be in a Titan situation where random food from shit companies like Taco Bell starts turning.
I don't want food, I just want monster. Just boxes of monster in a monster fridge. No, I have no issue with the female customer because I think it's great for the game. It works perfectly well because if you look at how well female Stormcast models look.
Like I said, right,
it means I get to share pictures of the Gladiator Diamond.
Like I said, right, I literally said this to GW directly this morning. I have a problem with it. I only have an issue with they've always been there, because they haven't.
They haven't.
That's a lie.
They haven't. When the entire background has said the sons of warlords that the Emperor has
There are
slain.
some references that are not specifically sons.
Yeah.
And there are some references that say, like, only the custodians know how custodians are
Do
selected.
you know what the change in the armour they need to make for custodes to have women in them? Nothing.
I was really worried where you were going then.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that there was a woman inside custodian guard armour, and then until she took her hat off, the helmet off, right? And then sometimes, like,
Maybe. Anyway, this is the Liam and Joe AoS show.
I know.
I know you're just trying to get the numbers
But no,
up.
I was saying that the look, because to segue into AoS is that there are female Stormcast models, and they look fucking incredible.
Yeah, but they were establishing the law from the start. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's the way they've gone about it that I have a problem with. I have no issue with the representation. I have a problem with the way they've gone about it.
The same thing happened with Belisaria's Call, right? So before they released the Belisaria's Call model,
We'll get to AoS, chat.
they were like, by the way, like we're releasing a new model from the Horus Heresy, a well-established character. Like, we're all excited from the AdMech. And then they're like, it's Belisarius Call! And everyone was like, who? And he's in the new book that's coming out in 2 months' time. And they're like, so you've introduced a character into the book that you haven't given us any lore about
This
until
is the thing.
future.
It's not just him, is it? Rogel Dawn battle tanks.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time.
Yeah.
This is not the first time. And guess what, chat? I hate to break it to you. It won't be the last. They'll do this again. And you know what will happen is the majority of the audience within the next 6 months will just flat go over it.
Yeah, they just won't care. It'll just be old news.
Yeah. I've seen too many Cartman memes on Twitter. You know the one I'm talking about. But they've not taken any of the current named characters and changed them.
No.
They've just said some of the foot soldiers or or some of the Shield captains who aren't currently named characters. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, it's AoS today. We're not talking about this now, right? We'll perhaps talk about this a little bit later. We've got a poll up right now. Who should play Custodes, me or Joe? Oh. Remembering, chat, I'm just throwing this out there. Remembering it's Joe's 2-year anniversary of the channel. And the deal we both have, or had, was, I'm prepared to waive this for you, was that whoever played, the other person stayed till the end of the stream.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll stay to the end of the stream.
I'm prepared to waive it for you.
Yeah.
If you wanted to leave early.
No, that's all right. I am also...
I mean, it's a bright game, Joe.
I look sad and look like I've been crying. My hay fever is playing silly buggers today.
Silly buggers?
Silly buggers. And it's really... And I honestly, I feel like I could cry at any moment because my eyes are so itchy.
You were sat here, so I put your tea there.
Yeah. Thank you, DJDM0713. That's not a ghost account if I've ever seen one. He welcomed becoming a Hasir all on his own. Thank you, Dang Skippy, for 5 gifted memberships.
What a legend, Dag. Thank you so much, man.
Leeks Veeks. Congratulations. I hope Liam got you a gift, Joe. I believe a first Joe anniversary is a monster. The second Joe anniversary is Nuggies.
I got him a bacon and egg baguette.
Yeah, and he verbally abused me for 20 minutes straight.
I feel like it's
Same
a fair
as
trade.
every day.
Fair trade, though, right? At least this time you got a baguette out of it.
Yeah, I suppose. Big Bad Peter Gaming. How come no game Thursday? Bombardment.
Bombardment. Neither of us are here.
We're not here.
Neither of us are
We're not
here.
here for reasons.
Yeah, so there's no game on Thursday.
Yeah.
And no Liam and Joe show.
No.
But...
Although...
Go on, you can do it. I'll let you do it. It's your second... Look,
we're doing it tomorrow instead.
You can be slightly in charge
At
today.
night time.
Yeah.
Well, not night time. We'll actually be doing it earlier than the Warhammer show. That's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe and I are going for a romantic night away together. Anyway, more on that later. Right, so there has been some new articles, Joe. Back on the 10th of April was the newest one. So what they did originally was they had an article which was, in fact, I probably should just screen share this one, right? Where you'll go podcast screen, boop, like that. Okay. So this is the Warhammer community page, specifically around AoS. We looked at the new Skaven clan rats, which are quite pretty. We looked at the anatomy of a war scroll, hasn't changed much. No. I don't hate it. We looked at what's leaving. That was a pretty angry stream from a lot of people until the new Stormcast came out, then people forgot all about that. Anyway, the next one on the 10th of April, which I was going to cover and I got asked my opinions on Thursday, Friday last week, was this one. React your opponent with powerful new commands in new AoS. Right? So this is the first one we're going to look at. Now, this is one that Joe hasn't yet seen, okay? So if I can get it, there it is, right. React to your opponents with powerful new commands in new AoS. Alongside War Scrolls and the priority role, issuing commands for units to react in your opponent's turn is one of the key features of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. These have received a lethal overhaul in the new edition in the shape of Command Rules module.
I said during the game stream and after the game stream, and even on the last AoS Liam and Joe show, if they were going to change anything, I'd like to see a fixing of the command phase. Because if you're a new player, the difference between a heroic command or a normal command or like an issuing of something, it gets quite confusing.
Well, it looks like they've listened to you. They have the new command module.
Good.
Right? It's a whole module. Ooh. What's very interesting is there's like 7 modules. What's fucking hilarious is if you play like Combat Patrol, which is not called Combat Patrol, in the new one, Spearhead, you have the core module. And if you play any other version of the game, you add all the other 6 ones on. They've not done a very good job of introducing with stages, yeah. But maybe there'll be...
But they did say in that thing about the modules that depending on what seasons it's, some modules might come out, some modules might come in.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that they can do is they could potentially have a start with this module, add this module, add this module, add this module, add this module. Yeah. Right? They could do that, okay. Anywho, right, so lethal over the rules module, command points. We hinted to this bit. Pay attention, Joe, you'll like this. As we hinted to previously, command points are a tightly controlled resource. Remember that exact sentence, right? Each player gets 4 command points at the start of the battle round to spend over the course of that entire round, right?
So both players.
So two per turn, basically. You get 4 for a battle round. But you get right at the start. This tightly packed resource, you now get more than before, right? But there are 10 commands to issue. Any command points you haven't spent by the end of the battle round are gone forever. So there's no way of hoarding them.
I did find from like watching other people play that everyone in the command phase was like, I'm going to use the command ability to roll a dice and get another one on a 4+.
Yeah, of course it did. As far as I'm aware, that's gone. Right. So you start off with four command points each at the start of the battle round between both of you.
Nice.
Okay. That's bog standard. There's other ways of getting more command points. Okay. Any ability with a command point cost is a command. Each player gains 4 command points at the start of each battle round. The underdog gains 1 extra command point. Each unit can only use 1 command in each phase. Each command can only be used 1 time by each army in each phase. You must pay the command point cost to use a command. Pretty simple.
Yeah,
right?
but if
Maybe
you go second, I'm assuming the underdog is the person who goes second.
We'll get into that, won't we? We'll get into that.
Oh, just guessing.
The RP composition module may also affect your CP economy. If you start with fewer auxiliary units than your opponent, they're units that don't fit into regiments, right? Do you know about regiments yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You go 1 character, several units, 1 character.
1 character, 3 units, unless it's your warlord's unit, and then you can have 4 units. Right?
Yeah, and some detachments allow you to have multiple characters and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes, yes.
If you have fewer auxiliary units than your opponent, you earn 1 extra CP per battle round. So if I take 1 auxiliary unit and you take 2 auxiliary units, that now means that I get 5 CP per battle round and you get 4.
But didn't they say you deploy each
Regiment as a whole.
as a whole?
Yep.
So
And then auxiliaries get deployed separately.
So if you have more, if you surely you're in a better position to have less.
Auxiliaries,
Yeah.
yes. And if you have less, if you start with fewer auxiliaries, if you have less, you also gain a CP. So if you have less auxiliaries, you probably deploy first. Probably, not definitely, but you probably deploy first.
Yeah.
But you also get CP. They're basically trying to stop people from spamming loads of auxiliaries and not putting things into regiments just to take all of the strongest units.
Yeah. I think tactically you're in a better position to have less because then.
Oh yeah, and you get the extra CP.
Yeah.
Bonus, right?
It's an interesting one.
What is interesting is if you have the same amount as auxiliaries, no one gains that bonus CP. Right?
Okay.
Finally, the underdog can harvest 1 extra point each round. That's the player with fewer victory points at the start of the round. This proves a powerful catch-up mechanic, ensuring that games remain closely fought. Which means these CP that are rarer than ever before. If you have fewer auxiliary units than me, and we go into battle round 2 and I've got more points than you, you can get 6 command points at the start of your battle round, Joe. 6.
That's madness.
I get 4. If I have fewer auxiliaries than you, and you are the underdog because you have less points than me, we both get 5 command points at the start of the battle round.
That's not. That's much more.
It's not that many.
Well, no, because if you think about it, right, in the current edition, from what I can tell, you get roughly 3.
You get
a whole battle round because you get 1 each, don't you? And then if your commander's on the table, you get another 1, and then you can choose to roll.
Yeah.
To get 4.
And if you're going second, you get 1 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are kind of getting 5, but if your warlord's dead and you don't roll that 4+,
yeah, you get less.
then you get much less.
But that doesn't affect this.
No, you just get them.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I really like the underdog mechanic. I like the fact that you're losing, we're going to give you an extra CP because you're losing.
Yeah.
To try and keep that balance going all the way through the game. I quite
I
fan of
suppose
that.
it means that even if you're out of the game, you're not out of the game because you have more tactical flexibility now to kind of keep the game moving. Because like what you find a lot in competitive 40k, after turn 1, in a competitive situation, a player can look at the table like, I've lost now, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like just give up. So now they're going to be in a position where like, oh, I'm behind, but if I do this right, I can come.
Talking about the 40k based comparisons, well, one of the things I like the most about AoS version 2 right now, edition 2 right now, which they're traveling over to, transpiring over to version 3. I love this, and I'm glad they've kept this, is at the end of the battle round, your CP sets to 0. I'm genuinely very glad they've kept that in.
Yeah.
So you go, here's my battle round. I know I have 4, 5, or 6 CP.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to get based on this. I'm going to get 4, 5, or 6 CP. It does seem like there is no other ways of getting CP in the game. Right? That's it.
That's good.
Right? It is good.
I like that.
So I know I'm going to get 4, 5, or 6 CP, and I know my opponent's going to get 4, 5, or 6 CP. I know that, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And I know that I have a battle round to use them, and that's it done.
Yeah, because
I'm a big fan of that.
Because the biggest issue that we've got at the moment in 40k is that some armies have characters, named characters, that you have to take to gain an extra CP.
Yeah.
And have no other way of getting extra CP. So you've got your Swarm Lord, you've got Lord Solar.
Azrael.
Those are auto includes, right? And then Elder, take an Autarch who's just your captain essentially, just gets one, and then some armies have no ability of doing this.
Yeah. So I actually, so far, I feel like for most standard AoS armies, it isn't actually a resource of fewer.
No.
It's pretty much the same-ish as it is now. But I think it's cleaner and it's neater.
Yeah.
And it's less random, which I like, right? This is a big thing because Ossiarch Bone Reapers, I don't know if you know, but in current second edition Age of Sigmar, Ossiarch Bone Reapers use a lot of CP, right? They generate a lot of CP, they use a lot of CP. Schooner, thank you Schooner for the 2, he said, mental when my Ossiarch Bone Reapers currently have 8 CP a turn. Right, 8 a turn. We're not going to get that anymore. We'll talk about that, right? Your pool of command points is an incredibly precious resource, as there are no abilities in the game that can generate additional points. Units and factions, such as the disciplined Ossiarch Bone Reapers, which previously relied on additional CP, can look forward to powerful new mechanics to compensate. Stay tuned for more info in upcoming faction focus
More
articles.
exploding models.
Yeah. What's more, the restrictions on who can issue commands are gone. Needing to use generals, totems, heroes, unit champions, and elite units to issue commands is a thing of the past. This makes using commands clear and concise while retaining the tough choice of when to use your core offensive and defensive abilities, which means they're stratagems. You just pay a CP and you use the stratagem. You don't have to go, this lord is commanding that team to have a better armor
Yeah,
save.
yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's neater. I think coming from 40k, it makes it a lot neater. We played with commands when Josh was here. I had no idea it actually had to be issued from a character. Didn't know that at all.
I didn't, but then I got lucky because all my characters hang around the units.
Yeah. What's more, we've done that one. Reactions. As we've seen, everything in the new edition is an ability, including commands, which all have clear timings showing which phase they're used in. All of these commands are found in the command module, so no more hunting around to find them. Neat. Much better than the stratagems, for example, and things like abilities in the 40k rulebook, which are kind of scattered all over the place. Where they are kind of placed where they're relevant, but then they don't have another section which puts them all in one place, which I kind of wish it did have, but hey. For 4 out of the 10 commands are reaction abilities, which are used once you have declared an ability, but before the effect is resolved, bolstering that effect, right? Using abilities. The timing of an ability, right, get used to the word ability, by the way, in 3rd edition. The word ability is used a lot.
Is this a word that helps clarify things specifically? Like in 40, because obviously one of the things we're going to do is we're going to compare a lot of stuff to 40k.
Of course, because we're a 40k channel, yeah.
So one of the issues you get in 40k is like, when is something a thing? So like, I get this benefit when you shoot at me. And you're like, I'm not shooting, I'm using a psychic ability.
Or I'm overwatching.
I'm overwatching. So yeah, but is that an overwatch ability or a shooting ability? Having the word ability in there and specific phase means...
So we're going to dive into this. By the way, thank you for clarifying. We're moving into 4th edition, not into 3rd edition. Thanks for clarifying. We'll go through this. When I first read this, thought it made it messier.
Yeah.
When I took a step back and read it a second time, I was like, actually, you know what? I don't think it makes it messier. I think it looks like it's going to set more defined boundaries as to when something is happening.
Yeah.
Which is something that we often have grey areas of in 40k.
Yeah, like...
So we talked about Overwatch with Paddy here on Sunday, where he charged Kyle's tank, and Kyle declared Overwatch, and Paddy went, you can't, because it's not the shooting phase, so the vehicle, big guns, never tire only happens in the shooting phase. But Overwatch says you shoot as if it was your shooting. It's messy, right? Where if it was like, I'm using a shooting ability, and you can use big guns, never tire when you use a shooting ability, it would be clearer. So we'll go into it, right? The timing of ability tells you when it can be used. When using an ability, follow these steps. Declare the ability. Tell your opponent which ability is being used. If the ability has declare instructions, resolve them at this step. Second, use reactions. Starting with the active player, the players alternate using any abilities with an appropriate reaction timing. 3, resolve the effect. Follow the instructions in the effect part of the ability. Sounds messy right now. But
it sounds like... So
when we see this bit here, it'll be clearer.
In terms of like Magic the Gathering, that sounds like a stack. So I'm going to play a card.
I'll play a card.
And then your player goes, well, I'm going to play a card to react to that. And you go, cool, my reaction to your that is that.
Yep.
And then they happen.
It is like a stack. It sounds like a stack, kind of, yeah. And if you've played Magic, that's probably simpler to you. But if you've not played Magic before and you step into a Magic place and you play, and so a stack happens, like it happened the first time I ever played Magic, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, all-out attack and all-out defense are familiar from previous editions, becoming reactions which occur once an attack ability has been declared. They have simple effects, making your chosen unit better on the offense or defense, okay? Reaction. So this is a reaction ability. You declared an attack ability. So it tells you, Joe, that you declared an attack ability, right? And it's a reaction to your attack ability. So it happens just after the use by part, and it costs one command point. Okay, all that attack. So used by the unit using that attack ability. Effect, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made as part of that attack ability. This also affects weapons that have the companion weapon ability. So if we go up here, declare the ability, tell your opponent which ability is being used. If the ability has a declare instruction step, resolve them, it's a step. So I'm going to use a shooting attack.
Is ability just AoS's keyword?
Kind of. Abilities are overused. We'll go in. You'll realise that. So I'm going to declare my shooting ability with my Stormcast people.
Yeah.
Right?
Your bowman.
My bowman. Okay. So this will tell me if this ability has a declare instructions resolve at step, which might be target a unit or whatever. I don't know. Okay. Then I'm going to use my reactions and I'm going to go all out attack before I start resolving my effect. Right. Yeah. Add 1 to hit rolls, then I go back in and I resolve the effect. So I use the reaction at step 2, then I resolve the effect. It's very clear. Once you start to go back and forth, I think it's quite clear. Okay. All out defense, you use by a unit targeted by that attack ability. So it's reaction. Your opponent declared an attack ability, 1 command point. Add 1 to save rolls for unit in this phase. Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. At the double and forward to victory are equally simple, allowing you to get your troops exactly where they need to be in the movement and charge phases, okay? So this one is you declared a run ability, it's a reaction, used by the unit using the run ability. Do not make a run roll as part of the run ability, instead add 6 inches to that unit's move characteristics to determine the distance each model in that unit can move as part of that run ability. I'm going to run, I don't need to do anything but spend a CP and I move 6. Easy, simple, right? Again, you've declared a charge ability, Joe. You can use it. This is the one that I think's broken right now.
Yeah.
So, right. I'll explain. I declare a charge ability, Joe. I'm going to charge you now. Right? Step 1, declare the ability. Tell your opponent which ability is being used. I'm going to charge you. Step 2, use reactions. Right? I haven't rolled my charge roll yet. Do I use this now? I don't know if I failed.
Oh.
Or do I have to use it before I even roll the first charge roll on the off chance that I fail? I'm hoping that what happens is, at step 1, the resolve step at step 1 is roll the charge roll, and then the resolve effect is move the models. So what I'm hoping happens, chat, I've been looking at this because a lot of people picked up on this last week. I've been looking at this. I'm hoping, tell your opponent which ability is being used, I'm going to charge. If the ability has a declare instructions, resolve them at this step. I'm hoping the declare instructions are, roll your charge roll.
Yeah.
Then reaction, use stratagem or command, then apply effect, move models.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if that's not the case, if the roll is at the effect stage, you have to declare this even if you know you pass or fail. It could be interesting.
Yeah, you go, I'd like to re-roll this charge if I fail it, and then you've passed it, you're like, cool, I wasted a CP.
Yeah.
It is an odd one.
So I'm hoping that the step 1 of the charge ability is roll the charge roll, and step 3 of the resolve effects is move the models into engagement range.
Does that mean that the command point, the CP reroll is gone then?
This never existed in. This is it.
They do not have it in AoS?
No.
Okay.
No CP reroll in AoS.
Okay.
No, just this.
Okay.
One of the things I liked the most about it, right? Because the Dragon says you have to use it before you roll according to Honest Wargamer. I have no idea if Rob's seen the rules or not. He gets a lot of information, so he might be right. But I'm hoping it's roll dice, UCP. On the flip side, if it isn't that way round, actually, I'm not against it. I have 3 charges.
Yeah.
I really want to guarantee that one. Rather than going, like we currently all do, make that charge, make that charge, make that charge, make this charge. If I fail, I'm using my CP now, whichever way around you want to do it. Now I'm going to be like, I have to declare it immediately. Yeah. I like if it is, you have to use this before you even know the result. I kind of like it because you could throw a CP away here.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I kind of don't hate that, you know? Kind of don't hate that, right? Commands, on the other hand, are more reactive. There are 6 new or revamped commands which are used at the end of their respective phases once the active player has finished all of their actions, allowing you to respond with a counterpunch and stay on top of a changing battlefield. Rally now gives you a more flexible way of healing or returning models to your units. The scaling has improved. You can no longer get lucky on the dice and bring back 2 full Storm Drake Guard. Didn't know you could do that, by the way. They're the big dragons, right? This is also a good example of how some of the functionality that used to be part of heroic actions, in this case heroic recovery, has been incorporated into other abilities to avoid 2 separate systems.
Yeah, so basically in current rallies, you roll a dice for each model in the unit, and for each 6, it just comes back.
Yeah.
So if you've got, I guess of like 4 Storm Drake and 2 die, you go, whoop, I've got 2 back now. Thank you for my 200 points a model.
So in any hero, and again, like 2 separate systems is gone, Joe, which is what you asked for when we had Josh here, right? Heroic, any hero phase, rally 1 CP. Pick a friendly unit that is not in combat to use its ability. I like the fact it's not in combat as well. That's good. Make 6 rally rolls of D6. For each 4+, you receive 1 rally point. Rally points can be spent in the following ways. For each rally point spent, heal that unit 1. You can spend a number of rally points equal to health characteristics of that unit to return a slain model to that unit. You can spend the rally points in any combination of the above. Unspent rally points are then lost. Now, I don't know how many wounds a Storm Drake had. Let's say it had 6.
Yeah.
I'd assume if you lost one entirely, you'd need to roll 6d6 to bring one back.
Yeah. So Blood Knight has 3 because Blood Knight has 3. So you only get 1 back if you roll 3 4 pluses.
Yeah. And if you roll 4 dice, right, and you've got a Blood Knight on one taking 1 wound, and you roll 6 dice, you get 4 pluses. You can heal that one for 1, and he goes up to full health. You can use your remaining 3 to return another 1. Yeah. What it doesn't look like it does is this is where I think Necron Reanimation works. If you rolled 2 4 pluses, you couldn't heal that one and bring another guy back on 1 wound by the looks of it, which is I think good.
Yeah, I prefer this methodology, same for the old Necron roll, where you had to roll the exact amount of wounds. Yeah. Instead of just bringing back odd models.
Yeah, I think it's okay, right? Redeploy. Okay, enemy movement phase, redeploy 1 CP. Pick a friendly unit that is not in combat to use its ability. Each model of that unit can move up to D6 inches. That move cannot pass through or end within the combat range of an enemy unit. Keywords, move, run. Enemy movement phase, move D6. It's all right. It's D6 though.
When? In the enemy movement phase.
In the enemy movement phase. So up at the top it tells you when. Look, enemy movement phase. It's not a reaction, so it doesn't happen in the reaction step. It just happens in the enemy movement phase. Spend 1 CP. Pick a friendly unit that's not in combat to use its ability. Affect each one that you can move D6. That move cannot pass.
Interesting. See, it's that's a very flexible stratagem. That's an incredibly powerful stratagem. If you think about it. Because if you play it at the start and your opponent wants to get to an objective, you just redeploy in front of them.
I don't want to get you too excited, by the way, as well. But I like, as you know, I read chat at the same time that I read articles at the same time I talk to you.
I've seen it, yes. Yeah.
You've seen.
We can talk about that in a minute.
Lucius and Noise Marines aren't in the Codex. Let's not distract him with Chaos Space Marines talk. That's tomorrow night's Liam and Joe show.
Can we talk about it a little bit?
No, it's AoS show, Joe.
Yeah, but everyone else.
You wanted an AoS show.
Look,
this was your idea.
We need to get in before Valrek. Before he ruins it for all of us.
He's probably already linked it 2 weeks ago.
Probably, yeah.
Redeploy is also back, but you'll now have to wait until your opponent has moved all of their units before using it. I don't know. I don't seem to.
So that wording on that stratagem is terrible then. The wording on that doesn't say the beginning of the movement phase, nor does it say the end. Or during. It just says enemy movement phase.
Yeah, it's true.
So that needs to be reworded to say at the end of enemy movement phase, because currently how that reads, you can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, start the phase, go for it.
So you go, cool, I'm going to just move block you in your turn.
Yeah. You're right, you're not wrong. Covering fire enables shooting units to exert pressure, replacing an old favourite, Unleash Hell. The new hotness in the charge phase is the powerful counter-charge ability, which costs 2 command points and allows for brutal interceptions. Cavalry units in particular, I love this by the way, cavalry units in particular revel in this ability, but any units that trigger abilities on the charge can become exceptionally powerful when used correctly. I love this because
you get your charge bonus.
One of my favourite things about old custodians was stooping dive with jet bikes. I fucking love the idea of cavalry counter-charging units because it's just cool. And now we get this in fantasy type settings as well.
But it's like you get the same thing in 40k currently because you can do a Hero Intervention, which is a 6-inch charge, but you can actually move 5 and 6 inches. But despite the fact that you are charging, you do not get a charge bonus.
Yeah. So covering fire, pick a friendly unit that is not in combat to use this ability in the enemy shooting phase. Important, enemy shooting phase, not charge. So it's not Overwatch. In the enemy shooting phase, pick a friendly unit that is not in combat to use this ability. Resolve shooting attacks for that unit, but all of the attacks must target the nearest visible enemy unit, and you must subtract 1 from the hit rolls for those attacks. So it's Overwatch, but it's not in the charge phase anymore. Put it in the enemy shooting phase. I suspect that part of the reason for this is it removes the messiness of we're in engagement range, can we shoot?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Shoot as if you're in the shooting phase.
Yeah,
is annoying.
Yeah.
Wording,
okay. So I'm not against it. I think it's cool, right? Countercharge. Pick a friendly unit that is not in combat to use his ability in the enemy charge phase. That unit can use a charge ability as if it were your charge phase.
Like Lance, for instance.
Yeah. Right?
I like it.
So, again, these two, the one thing I'm interested in with both enemy shooting phase and enemy charge phase, much like the one we just looked at, it doesn't say the end. So if you move your unit that's about to charge, that's about to shoot at me within shooting range, and it's the nearest unit, can I just spend 1 CP and rattle you before you even get a chance to shoot? Yeah. I'm assuming that both of these are end of the phases.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Because you're like covering... that needs a bit of clarification.
So what I'm kind of thinking at the moment is it's going to tell me that all commands that aren't reactions are used at the end of the phase.
It's a weirdly written version of Horus Heresy's reaction roll.
Yeah.
Like, you shot at me, I'm now going to shoot you back.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking at the moment off the top of my head, just thinking, spitballing, is that all of these commands that aren't reactions are end of the phase. Because that would make sense, right? Magical intervention permits the reacting player to cast a spell or chant a prayer in the opponent's turn, allowing for powerful counterplay or counterprey. Note that prayers have seen substantial changes to differentiate them from magic in this edition. We'll beseech the powers that be and talk about these divine changes in due course. Enemy hero phase magical intervention. Declare. Pick a friendly wizard or priest to use this ability. That friendly unit can use a spell or prayer ability as appropriate, as if it were your hero phase. If you do so, subtract 1 from casting rolls or chanting rolls made as part of the ability. So it's slightly harder because you're doing it in the opponent's turn in the enemy hero phase. Again, I'm assuming end of the phase, right?
Yeah.
Please read the top of the article again. It says they're all at the end. Oh, there you go then. See where it says this. Doesn't say there that's end of the phase. Tightly control each has been over the course of that entire round. No, it doesn't say it there. 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 Which is usually the end of their respective phases. There we go, found it. I mean, it's not at the top of the article. Oh. But thank you so much, hang on, I always say that. Marcanius? You're a hero, found it, good. Right, there it is. I have read it, I just hadn't completely. So the end of their respective phases once the active players finish all their actions. Perfect, that makes, okay, this is all good then. There we go, we're good. We're good. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. We've done that
Magic.
Magical intervention. So end of the enemy hero phase, you can cast a spell, Joe.
No.
Which interestingly, I assume, includes things like defensive spells, etc.
Yeah.
Right, which is good. Finally, power through is activated at the end of any turn, letting rampaging monsters and barreling chariots smash through infantry or scatter cavalry, dealing damage and moving through the unit, opening up new positioning opportunities. Okay. At the end of any turn, 1 CP, power through, declare, pick a friendly unit that charged this turn to use this ability. Then you must pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. The target must have a lower health characteristic than the unit using this ability, right?
Okay.
The effect, inflict D3 mortal damage on the target.
Yeah.
Then the unit using this ability can move a distance up to its move characteristic. It can pass through and end that move within the combat ranges of enemy units that were in combat with it at the start of the move, but not those of other enemy units. It does not have to end the move in combat.
I love this, by the way. Right.
This is narrative.
One thing I was having played a couple of games with Blood Knights, right? With my cavalry, is that they're trash when they're not on the charge.
Yep.
Right? And if they charge you something and don't kill it, the last thing you want is for your strong cavalry unit to just be bogged in combat, because once it loses its charge bonus, it can't kill anything.
Of course.
And if you do get the double turn, you're like, cool, it doesn't matter because I can't fall back and charge.
Yeah.
So this is a way of fighting the fall back and charge.
Narratively speaking as well, I like the fact that you have to compare the health characteristics. So if you smash two cavalry units into each other, who both have the same health characteristic, none of them can power through. The same toughness, essentially, the same strength, right?
Yeah.
What I like about this one, there's a couple of things you can do here, right? 2 CP, if you wanted to, with your 5 command points you've got, Joe, is you can countercharge in my turn, right? So you countercharge my infantry unit with your cavalry, with your blood knights, right?
Yeah.
You inflict a number of damages, a number of things. It gets to the end of my turn, you haven't killed my whole unit, you're stuck in combat. What you then do is you spend 1 CP and you power through. You do D3 initial mortal damage to me, and your cavalry are more health than my infantry unit. You then peel away, which means your turn is next. You come back in and charge again.
Yeah,
and it's so narrative.
This could be a really clutch stratagem as well, because like that's a way of doing D3 mortal wounds to you. Like, I've left you on 2 wounds. Ooh, if I spend 2 CP, I could kill you and get you out of the way.
And you get a full move.
Yeah.
It's so, for cavalry units and things like that, it's so narrative. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm mad for it. It's good, right? You can expect other abilities in the game to alter the way that certain commands work or trigger off them in interesting ways. For example, Storm Strike Chariots can double down on this command with their Celestial Blaze passive, triggering an additional D3 mortal damage and granting their Griff charges an extra D6 into their movement. Ooh. So the Storm Strike Chariot, Celestial Blaze here, it says passive, it's purple, passive ability, right? Which means it's always on. You don't have to declare it, it's always on, okay? Right? When this unit uses the power through command, inflict an additional D3 mortal damage on the target, so it's 2D3, and add D6 to the distance it can move as part of the ability. It currently moves 10 inches. So it moves 10 plus D6 inches as it powers through, and does 2D3 mortal wounds, or mortal damage as it's called.
How strong that is.
Yeah. This is the new battle. I don't know if you've seen these. These are the new sheets. I like them.
I really like these, specifically because all the information's there, right? Which means you don't have to go anywhere else looking for information.
Well, I mean, not entirely true. For example, crit is a keyword ability. It doesn't tell me what that does, so I have to know that in the code in the core rulebook.
Yeah, you only have to read it once.
But it's only a key. Yeah, it's only a keyword system, and everyone has the same keywords.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't hate it. Right. Cool. Later this week, we'll be taking a look at how battle traits work and what you can expect for battle formations, the replacement for sub-factions. So that is, on the surface, that is the new command module and all the command abilities that you have. All one module, one set of 10 commands, everyone's got the same. I personally, especially now I know their end of the phase, thank you for that, because I read that sentence 3 times and somehow I've missed that every single time and I was confused. So with the exception of knowing whether at the end of the phase or what happens with that charge one as a reaction, I think this is brilliant.
That is great. Do you know what I want to see now with the new rule book or what they're called, something handbook, General's Handbook, all those come on one sheet.
But like,
that's what I want.
So
all
now
the stratagems on one piece of paper.
So now we've had the clarification that their end of phase, which again, that's my fault, I missed that, right? The only ambiguity I have so far is when the charge phase 1 actually happens, because I haven't seen the charge ability in the rulebook yet. I suspect, once I see the charge ability, I will know that it happens before I roll or after I roll. What I liked about that is I read the whole article, and once I'd got over the amount of times I used the word ability, right, I was like, I have no questions.
Yeah.
Apart from that charge phase 1, I have no questions.
Yeah.
Everything just makes sense.
Do you reckon they got ability, just copy paste? Like, so you don't have to type out every time?
And having been a playtester, I know they do a lot of copy pasta, Joe.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's abilities.
I love it.
But yeah.
Yeah, I it clears out because it's like, because before it was okay. My army can do this. A character can do this. I can do this, but only if there's
Yeah.
a person with
Yeah.
a special banner. You can do this command ability in your command phase, but you can't do it in your opponent's command phase. But you do have command abilities that can be done. And I'm like, I don't. No, I just want. Can I do them? Can't I do them?
This feels like it's kept some of the AoS flavour because some of
Yeah.
them are very AoS-based rules. It's made them nice and neat and tidy, super simple to understand.
Yeah.
It's added a couple more in, which I feel really fit fantasy setting.
Yeah.
I love the idea that in your hero phase, I can cast a spell for defensive. I'm like, fuck, I need to put a shield, whatever it might be. Okay, not that we've seen magic yet, obviously. I also like the fact that, although I take the piss out of less command points than ever before, apart from it's about the same, that being said, let's say we get 5 each, you look at those command points, well, if I want to keep counter charge, that's 2 CP, I've only got 3 left. I can only do 3 more of those.
Yeah, and if you go first, you're like you can't. If you go first, you're like I could spend all of them in my first bit, but then I've got none in my opponent's turn. So then it becomes a game of do I need these? And if it gets to your turn, you don't use them, then obviously they've been wasted. So it's like almost like gambling.
So you've got like all out attack is in your turn. Obviously, there's a couple of others that are in your turn. You can use the power through at the end of your turn. If you use power through, all out attack, and then there's another 1 or 2 in your turn, guess what? When it gets to your opponent's turn, you've got significantly less, and there's a lot of abilities that happen in your opponent's turn. What I actually like is the overwhelming feeling that I'm getting from these rule sets for 4th edition is that they're kind of encouraging you to use the majority of your CP in your opponent's turn and hold on to it. And that makes it, in my opinion at least, a more interactive game.
Yeah.
Because if I have my first turn, I don't use any CP, and I rock into your turn with 4 at the minimum, for CP maximum 6, you already know that I'm probably going to maybe look at counter charging, I'm probably going to cast a spell in your turn, I'm probably going to shoot at you in your turn. So now you're going to be going, I know that when I move that unit towards Liam, at the end of the turn, he could shoot at me, because he's got that stratagem in his pocket. I love the fact that it's really interactive, and it means that the two of you are kind of... So I often feel that sometimes in 40k, when your opponent's going, especially up until the point where they start shooting, you just stand there and watch them.
So, by having these at the end of the turn, it gets rid of one major issue that 40k has with stratagems. Your opponent's doing stuff, they're rolling dice, and you're like, stop, I'm gonna do this. Or you go, I should have played that stratagem then.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of a little bit of guilt because you're like, I could have done that, but you're like, my opponent was rolling too fast, I didn't have enough time to think, and now my unit's dead, and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, you're like, cool, my opponent's having their turn, I'm doing their stuff, I can use all out defense, that's one stratagem I can use, and my opponent might ask if I'm going to do it, but you know in the combat phase...
But there's only 4 that are reactions.
Yeah. So you're like, at the end of the turn, your opponent goes, is there anything you want to do before we go into my next bit? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Really clear. Absolutely. 100%. No like weird gotcha moments either. I love the fact that 100% agree with what you're saying there. Right. Opponent can go, okay, I'm going to shoot at you now. Would you like to use all that defense? There's only 4 reactions. I don't need to learn. I'm all about this. I'm a big fan at the moment. Right. So that's good. Right, before we go into the next article, there is another article that I want to talk about. Basically, Joe and I are really positive about the commands in general. This is the first time Joe's seen them.
Yeah.
So when I read the article, I instantly thought about the comment that you made when we streamed with Josh, where you were like, I just want it to be amalgamated into one and it to be neat and tidy.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they've done. It's exactly what they've done. Maybe, Games Workshop, you should listen to us more.
Yeah. Put us in charge.
Just saying.
Of the whole business.
Your 40k playtesters aren't doing so well, are they? Anyway.
Do they have playtesters anymore?
Well, I mean, evidently not. If they do, they should probably keep themselves very quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
So quiet, they shouldn't even talk to Games Workshop.
That aside, or they should probably do more playtesting and spend less time going on holiday. Right. We've got more. We've got more super chats and stuff, don't we? We've got more things to talk about. You want to go through them?
Yes, we do. Can we talk about what chat we've been talking about?
No.
Let me do some super chats then.
I know one of them is referencing it, Joe, as well.
What are we talking about? Thank you, Adam Fox. Not sure if you noticed from the Custodes decks, the Oryx Champion's attachment has 0 battle strats, so no free strats from your characters.
Yeah. Free CP reroll.
Yeah, free CP reroll. And... well, that's it, I suppose. But right?
That is a monumental rule. We're not going to spend too much time on this. We'll talk about this tonight.
No, but
It's a monumental rules
we
fuck
did
up.
do that detachment, haven't we? We're allowed to say that.
We are doing that detachment tonight.
We're doing that, and I've gone through the rules. I've looked at them, and I'm like, but there is, depending on how you run Auric Champions, there is a very broken stratagem in that detachment as well.
Not battle tactic though. You can't do it for free.
Not a battle tactic. You can't do it for free, but it's very good.
So yeah, we have noticed that. We absolutely have noticed that.
It's weird. It's such a weird choice.
It's not a weird choice. It's bad rules writing.
Yeah, you're like.
Actually, I'm gonna clarify a little bit further. Actually, when I say it's bad rules writing, I'm gonna expand slightly on this one. It's not necessarily bad rules. Well, it is bad rules writing, and it comes from the very beginning and the very core, when a captain or shield captain or any model that has this ability could do any stratagem for free. So when the Auric, I would almost bet a month's wages on this. I'd almost bet a month of Joe's wages on this. When they wrote the Auric Champions attachment, they hadn't yet probably done the FAQ that says only battle tactics can be done for free. I'd almost put money on that. At that point, it doesn't matter that none of them are battle tactics.
Because my theory is that all of the codexes that coming out in this first run, as it were, because obviously the last one is Chaos Space Marines, all of them are just copy-paste index codexes, essentially. They've gone, print the indexes, but we'll change some of the rules. And that's it, basically. And
so I actually genuinely think that this was probably written before they'd made that change, whereby battle tactics became the only ones that you could do for free. And so I suspect that what we'll see I hate this. I suspect we'll see a very early FAQ for this book.
Yeah.
I said this last night on the stream. I already think we're going to see an errata and FAQ. Like, it's one of those books where I don't hate it as much as everybody hates it, but it has taken a monumental battering with a Nerf bat. It is one of those books where I read the book, looking at everything else that's ready so far, and I'm like, I'm instantly pissed off if I bought this book, which I haven't, thankfully, because they're going to get an errata, without doubt.
Well, they're not going to get that quickly. Poor Admech. They haven't got theirs yet.
And when Art of War say it's the worst book they've ever written, I do look at Admech.
When someone like that goes, this is the worst thing that's ever been released in the history of all time. It's like, did you read the Admech book?
Exactly.
Do you know it exists?
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Admech's at a fucking low bar.
Guess what, right? The Custodes will still beat Admech. So,
I reckon they will.
They will.
You won't be bottom yet.
Yeah,
Wait till Admech get their errata and you don't, then maybe.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, thanks
Thank you, Schooner.
Schooner!
Mental when my OBR have 8 CP.
You've
done that one already. Kazarian, never a fan of CP batteries. There's a current vehicle enhancement that you get that gains CP on a 3+ when your opponent spends and feels too OP not to take. It's very good. So basically, there's an enhancement for vampires at the moment. So whenever your opponent spends CP, you get it. But when I played it, I was like, I wasn't even spending that much CP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
But
I think.
But I didn't know when to spend it though. That was the problem.
The thing is with OBR, right? People like OBR is they've needed the CP farming to be good, stroke competitive, and then it sort of leads you into specific builds. And I think this is a much neater way of doing it. I honestly, genuinely think that having 4 to 6, because that's what it is. It's 4 to 6, right? It's 4 every battle round. 1 if you're losing, and 1 if you've taken less auxiliaries. So it's 4 to 6 CP that you're going to get, right? Every battle round without fail. You're going to get 4 to 6. Here's the 10 you can use. Some of them are very good. Some of them are exceptionally good. The one that's really fucking good, the countercharge one, I feel like it should be 2 CP. Like, how are you going to spend them? But you get the resource at the start of the battle round. Here's your options, and you lose your resource at the end of the battle round, and it resets next battle round. Honestly, I would prefer this from 40k.
Yeah.
And I'm a person who would rather have had in 40k this exact style of command point generation and command point abilities, no command point abilities for each individual factions, and I'd rather have Warlord traits, relics, psychic powers back, personally. Like, here's my librarian, here's my 6 psychic powers.
What I hope they don't do is now introduce loads of these stratagem type things for every faction.
Yeah,
I hope they keep it as just the core lot. Because the problem is when you have a limited amount of CUP, what tends to happen is you don't spend any because you're kind of holding out in case you need to spend one, or you just use the same stratagem over and over and over again. Like Armor of Contempt for Space Marines. So cool, I got one CP this turn, Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
One CP this turn, Armor of Contempt. Or I've got 2 CP because I've got a named character, Armor of Contempt, and then probably a CP reroll. Done. So I think as long as they keep it as those 10 and leave it at those 10, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, John McArdle. Sorry, no, this is an AoS stream, but FYI, Warhammer Community have just announced an Emperor's Children Index will be coming out soon. TM.
Knowing John, this is more than a $2 super chat, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're kind of obliged to talk about it a little bit. Yes, we are. Let's be honest. Let's be very honest. It's zero surprise.
I'm not surprised. The interesting is how it's going to be built. Are you going to get the 9th edition pre-Codex World Eaters Index, which was Khan and Berserkers?
Yeah.
Or are they going to go... Because if they're playing this out, this means that a Chaos Codex is coming soon. We don't know anything, right? As of this moment, we can't get in trouble with what we say because we don't know anything.
Literally don't know anything.
Right? So
Joe literally doesn't know anything.
I don't know anything. So
that's how he got here.
Yeah. So you just follow some coins into a box and then you're there. I don't see them going. Here's an index with Emperor's Children Demon Prince, Emperor's Children Cap Lord, Terminator Lord, Emperor's Children Terminators. I don't see them doing all of that and having basically a codex but not a codex.
Yeah. Okay.
I just see them going, here's the 2 units that you currently have available. Use the Space Marine Codex as you see fit.
I mean, the thing is, if I was an Emperor's Children player, I would be less concerned because that happened to World Eaters.
Yeah.
And that meant quite clearly World Eaters got their own codex. It was coming soon.
So you know what that means?
Emperor's Children are going to be getting their own codex. You know what that also probably means?
Soon.
Demon Fulgrim. Because we haven't had any of the 3 main Chaos factions, we haven't had them without a Primarch.
That does mean that the Emperor's Children Codex it's got to be this year.
Does that mean you want to do Emperor's Children now as well?
I've got Emperor's Children at home. So...
Well, you want to hope that plastic models aren't that pretty. Otherwise I'll fight you for them.
I will fight you in the street, in my pants.
Naked.
Yeah, take my pants off.
Okay, good, yeah.
Get the real weapon out.
Yeah.
My butt.
Baby oil.
Yeah.
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 So I haven't seen that yet. Does that mean we can talk about the female Emperor's Children champion?
That would be amazing. Right. Which is...
Let's not just...
Right. Before people go, angry female Space Marines, right? Because they will. Right? And they'll be like, there's no law behind it. But there is. Right? In the book, The Great Gospel of Storm of Iron, right? A Chaos Space Marine gets a female Imperial Guard officer, captures her, and she's like, "You're my armor slave now." Makes her just clean the blood and the bits of her friends out of the armor every night until one day she kills him, right? Puts his armor on, turns into a demon prince, murders a whole bunch of people, cuts a hole in reality, and then jumps through it. Great.
All right, anyway. Yeah. Ed says, the article just said no codex anytime soon. I'm aware, but, well, I say I'm aware, I'm not aware, I haven't read the article. But what we're saying is, it will be coming.
Yeah.
And the other thing
this is like one of those like indefinite winter is coming.
Yeah, and before you take too much, before you take too much of what's on Warhammer as gospel, remember this is the same website, the same people that wrote that 40k was simplified, not simple, and less lethal, and all those kinds of things. So before you listen to everything Warcom says, there's an interesting interview coming on the channel soon with a person who used to work at Games Workshop, right? And it's full of information. And when you listen to that interview in the future, you'll realise that the left hand has absolutely fuck all idea what the right hand is doing. So I believe they would have written in there it's not coming anytime soon, but let's not take that as actual gospel, because it could mean it's coming in a month. It also could mean it's coming in 2 fucking years, because that's how it works. Again, interesting interview. Not coming from me, coming from an old employee.
And Warcom have said a few things that have never happened.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. The team behind Warcom and like the Twitter page and the Facebook page should probably all be sacked. I'll be honest.
I'm pretty convinced that the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram teams and Warcom are all separate teams within
Almost
a team.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all lolling at each other.
Yeah. They're all in their own
constant
individual cubicle, which is just a box, and they're not allowed to talk to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, cool.
Thank you, Kazarian. I do wonder how summonable units in Soulblight Gravelords will interact with Rally, or they'll have their own thing. Surely it has to be better than standard Rally. I would imagine that, because currently they've got their own version of summoning, and they can still use Rally, so they can get summoned twice.
Yeah.
One's easier, one's harder. I will imagine they'll either keep that, or when you do Rally, you just get a better version of it.
Well, so we saw the chariot
Yeah.
that said that when you use breakthrough, you do an additional D3 mortal wounds and you can travel an additional D6.
Yeah.
So let's say Soulblight Gravelords, when they do Rally, you roll 10 D6,
Yeah.
or you get it on 3 pluses,
Yeah.
or whatever, some mechanic that allows you to get more back.
Currently, you can res multiple units, whereas Rally only targets one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I do like the concept as well, actually, thinking about it, that instead of having individual stratagems, what you have is ways of manipulating ones that everybody else has.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like that as a concept.
Thank you, Doug Lyle. It says, not AoS, but interesting. Chaos Space Marine Codex article just published, separate index for Emperor's Children. We've just spoken about that. Rewind.
Joe's very excited about Emperor's Children. He's probably later, after we finish stream, going to get his penis out again.
It's out now.
In
my pants.
Around, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like an extendable rope on it. It's like nunchucks. I'll have to dig out those nose marines that I was talking about earlier.
Rich is like, I might have to start an AoS army. Models are amazing and the game is looking really good. I agree at the moment, actually.
Yeah, I think if you play 40k a lot now, don't spend any more money on 40k unless you want to, obviously.
I mean, I'm going to buy some Custodians
Yeah.
and some Stormcast female heads.
All right. Keep buying Warhammer. Keep buying all of it.
Exclamation mark.
Unless you
element.
can't, unless you've got a limited budget, you can only buy one. Stop buying 40k. Buy an AoS Spearhead or Vanguard box set.
Exclamation mark element in the chat if you want to check out Element Games and use our main channel sponsor. If you purchase via Element Games, you actually financially support us as well. But yes, buy Spearheads, as well as I want everybody out there, all however many people watching, 200 something people that are watching, to all buy the new Custodes Battle Force box. Not called Battle Force anymore, is it? Combat Patrol. And then we'll arrange a tournament somewhere. This is what I want to do now, chat, right? When Hobby House opens downstairs, we're going to have a 70-person tournament. And the rule is you have to have 2,000 points, you have to have Custodes. I'm just going to run a Blood Games tournament.
Yeah. The good thing about Custodes is, apart from a few 4-drive units, no mortal wound output. So your special rule that you've lost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what are you worried about?
Yeah. Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
And I have to say, right, we were talking about this earlier, narratively about Custodes. Custodes were designed specifically for killing Space Marines, right? Do you know what they're really good at still? Killing Space Marines.
Yeah. They're for the very
Narratively, they do exactly what they're supposed to.
Unless they're Deathwing Knights. Lol.
That is a problem for them. and Death Guard will cause them a few problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, thank you, Harbon. He says, let's see if Imperial Guard get their codex before or after the new faction gets added.
I feel like Imperial Guard will get their codex about 3 days before 11th edition.
There's no roadmap after Chaos. I imagine after Chaos drops, there might be a new roadmap.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
People like the Blood Games idea, Jay.
Yeah.
We just stumbled into something genius.
I like it. I'm going 100% honest. I read the codex and I was like, I want to do them. I want to do Custodes. No, because the hipster in me is like...
Yeah, well, Brom's got his Custodians army. Paddy's got his Custodians army. I'll get them, you get them. We could do an on-channel Blood Games.
Yeah.
Be great. We'll all get together on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll stream every game. We'll do 2v each other in the first game. Then we'll have a final. 3 games, 1 day, Blood Games. That's a great day of content.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
How we make Custodes work, pit them against Custodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elekman. Says, thoughts on battle traits, battle formation article.
As soon as we get to the bottom of these super chats, now we're going to go straight into that article.
Thank you, Hungry Bert. I'll be there for that.
That's the Blood Games.
Yeah.
What legend.
Bio Big Daddy. Glad to see you, Joe. Happy to have made it to a stream. You guys are great. I'm happy to have made it to a stream, to be honest.
You're great.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind of a couple of weeks, and I'm
Yeah.
glad to finally be here. But
Go on.
I'm going to leave now.
Are you? Now?
Right now.
Are you going to the bathroom right now?
I am.
Why would you get to the bottom of the super chats and then go to the bathroom?
Because I like to be involved.
Blood Game Sunday? Exactly, yeah. We should do that. That's a great idea, actually.
I'm going to play Black.
Joe, I actually feel like it's a genius idea.
Yeah?
You're not playing Black Custodians. I'm going to do Shadow Company or whatever it's called. We've got a revised 40k roadmap. Next up, Sisters and GC Cults in the summer, along with Redacted. Redacted. Sam Deacon, thank you for becoming a Skull Tier member. What a legend! ! Gift, grift, member in the chat. Any one of those. Let's see if we can get 100 members on one of Joe's anniversary streams. I have no idea how many we've actually got. I don't know if it tells me. But thank you so much for all 229 people joining us. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash all those magical YouTube buttons for me. Obviously, hit that like button if you enjoy the content. You wonderful, wonderful people. Smash subscribe if you haven't already. Did you know when I did my custody stream last night, I lost 10 subscribers. People were really upset. Really upset. Oh, well. I'm actually looking forward to the game tonight. Have we got a winner right now for? Oh, I'm currently 59% for me to play Custodians. It looks like it might be me doing it. Blood Game stream is amazing in my opinion. I'm into it. Let's do it. Sam Deacon, thank you for the 5 gifted. You fucking hero. What a legend. What an absolute baller you are. Thank you for 5 more gifted. You amazing people. You could have a couple more games using boarding actions terrain. Maybe. Who has to run 2,000 point Sisters of Silence in the Blood Games? Brom. Oh, we could. No, I don't want to do that. I could say we could all use the one of each detachment, but that means someone's got to be a Sisters detachment, and I don't think that's a good idea. Thoughts on the Stormcast Reclusians? I mean, for a lot of people that got very upset when their models got moved to Legends Elect Man, I feel like that might be something that makes them go, okay, these are still gorgeous. Maybe I'm coming straight back to Stormcast. Crumpets, thank you for the 2. Hashtag Blood Games, hashtag Custard Con. They're into the Blood Game Sunday, Jay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the thing we can do. A bit overly detailed. They are a bit overly detailed. The new Stormcast. Are you muted still? They are a bit overly detailed, the new Stormcast, but I think they're sexy.
I think they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't care about the detail. I think they look great.
You don't care about the detail because you're decent at painting.
But I think that it represents their veteran status. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So when we finish the stream, Liam's going to buy me a Custodes Army. Thank you, Crumbus Cat Panda, for 5 gifted memberships.
I'm not buying your Custodes Army.
Why not?
I just bought some of my own Custodians models. I'll buy you. I'll buy you Luris Custodian Terminators.
Why?
Because they're your favourite Custodians models.
I fucking hate those Terminator
They're
models.
your favourite models in the
They're
whole
not.
Custodians range.
I hate them. I like the Forge World Terminator models. I do not like those weird potato-looking... Like, those Custodian Terminator models don't look like they can actually wield those axes efficiently.
I love them. They look amazing.
They look like Teletubbies.
My evocators are reclusions now. 100% Andreas. Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect proxy. I think they look incredible.
They look like...
Joe, you're wrong.
They look like a mix between a Teletubby and Ted.
Crumpets, thank you for those 5 gifted as well, you hero. We're trying to get to 100 members for your birthday stream, Joe, your 2-year anniversary stream.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did I get for that?
Nothing. Because I wanted 200. Because we're not streaming on Thursday.
Yes.
So I thought people would just double down today instead.
This only benefits you.
Yeah, absolutely, always.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Cool.
Anyway, we now have the... Oh, hang on, where's my mouse gone? The battle tactics... the battle traits and battle formations shape your army in new AoS, right? So how battle traits and battle formations shape your army in new AoS is the other article that came out last week that I want to talk about tonight, okay? Today. What time are we on? Oh, we're running out of time here. The way you build your armies has changed in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and these changes can affect everything else in the game, from the priority role to your command point economy. We've talked about regiments, individual heroes, and their retinues of units, and now it's time to look at the primary rules that govern your army. Battle traits and battle formations.
So, as I like to, because you've read this and I haven't, I'm going to make a wild assumption. Do you know one of my most favourite annoying rules ever from old editions that never came past 8th edition?
What?
Siege initiative, right? It was a great stupid rule.
It
was so infuriating when someone sees initiative on you. But they were great because I used to be a Drukhari player, so you could seize initiative of a 4+, and one of the warlord abilities was you could re-roll the Caesar roll.
Right, okay.
So it had a 4+ re-rollable C's. It was great. It was so much fun. It was annoying for everyone else, but it was fun.
What's that got to do with?
because that was the thing is how it affects the priority roll,
Yeah.
which is who goes first.
Okay.
Same. Sorry, I had fun.
Battle traits are a series of widespread abilities that are unique to your army. Some of these will feel similar to existing army rules, but they've all been tightened up and codified to work with the new ability system. So battle traits are like chapter tactics, I guess. For instance, the Stormcaster Eternals have 4 different battle trait abilities that apply to the army as a whole. While heroic actions are gone, many of those ideas live on, and their finest hour, best day ever, continues to power up a Stormcaster Eternals unit for a turn at a time. Okay? So only Stormcast get their finest hour now.
Yeah.
Once per turn, army, your hero phase, right? Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternals unit that has not used this ability this battle to use this ability effect. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to rune rolls for that unit's combat attacks and add 1 to save rolls for that unit. Best day ever.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pick a hero, but this is what's called a battle trait, right? Stormcast have 4 different battle traits abilities that apply to the army as a whole. While heroic actions are gone, many of those ideas live on and their final outlaws continues. What I don't understand, it says 4 battle traits that apply to the army as a whole, but this doesn't apply to the army, it applies to a single model, but I guess you can pick any model in the army.
Yeah, because this isn't a... Doesn't cost a CP.
Yeah. Interestingly as well, Stormcast Eternals unit, no longer hero or character. So you can put this on a unit of Stormdrake Guard.
Yeah.
Lol. Right?
Hang on. Has, for the rest of the turn, right, so this is good and also toilet at the same time,
Why?
right? So if you go second, you only get it in your turn, not in your opponent's. And then if you don't get to go first the next turn, then you won't get it until your next command phase.
Because it's turned at battle round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Signs of the Storm returns as a way to blast your gleaming silver warriors into the thick of battle and bolts of lightning, and now it applies to all Stormcast Eternal armies rather than needing to pick between this ability and the territory holding prowess of the Stormkeepers. As a movement phase ability, it's paired with a deployment ability called the Celestial Realm, allowing you to keep your units in high as air before battle. So Celestial Realm, deployment phase, right? Declare if there are more friendly Stormcast Eternals units on the battlefield than are set up in reserve. Pick a friendly Stormcast Eternal unit that has not been deployed. If there are more Stormcast units on the battlefield and set up in reserve, pick a friendly Stormcast unit that has not been deployed. Set the unit up in reserve in the Celestial Realm. It has now been deployed.
Okay.
Have you followed?
So it's basically Deep Strike.
Yeah. But because of the way it's written,
Yeah.
you can't start putting units into Deep Strike until you've put a number of units on the table.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if there are more friendly Stormcast Eternals on the battlefield than are currently set up in reserve, pick a friendly Stormcast unit that has not been deployed and then put it in the Celestial Realm.
Yeah.
Okay? Signs of the Storm. Declare, pick a friendly Celestial Stormcast unit that is in the Celestial Realm.
Yeah.
Set up that unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from enemy units.
Nice.
So you can hold units in reserve, and then at some point you better put them in the Celestial Realm, which then means you can Deep Strike.
Yeah. But you can't put anything in reserve until you've actually deployed a model.
You can put things in reserve. You can put 3 units in reserve before you've deployed a model, but they won't be in the Celestial Realm. They'll just be in reserve, ready to walk on.
Okay.
Yeah, with me?
Yeah.
If you then put 4, so you put 3 units in reserve. So the first thing to do is put your first regiment in reserve. Cool, right? And your first regiment has a character and 2 units. Cool, perfect, brilliant. Your second play is to then put your next regiment on the table.
Yeah.
Your next regiment has 1 character and 3 units.
Yeah.
You've now got more units on the table than you've got in reserve. Your third pick, you could put something in the Celestial Realm.
Yeah.
All right? Okay, cool. That's how I've read it anyway, I might be wrong. Some battle trait abilities may be commands with an associated cost, such as Heaven Sent. This powerful once per battle ability can return a destroyed unit to the battlefield at half strength, ready to smash aside the enemies of Sigmar once again. So I hate to disappoint you, Jay. This is a single command ability that only Stormcast have. It's their own stratagem. That being said, we've been told they have 4 battle traits. This is the 4th. Pick a friendly, non-unique Stormcast Eternals infantry or cavalry unit that has started the battle with 2 or more models and that has been destroyed to be the target. Set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target unit rounding up, more than 9 inches from all enemy units.
That's a Soulblight Gravelord's ability.
Is it?
For a summonable. So currently, if a summonable unit of Soulblight Gravelords dies, it can come back on the table.
Yeah.
So they've got the same thing that currently Soulblight have.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Interesting.
I mean, as a set of 4 battle traits for Stormcast, you've got Best Day Ever, you've got putting things in deep strike and deep striking them, and you've got return a unit, right? This is a once per battle ability. Once per battle you do this for a CP. So out of all the battle traits, we've got 3 kind of persistent effects that you can use that are free, and 1 CP, 1 stratagem.
Yeah.
So if each faction gets 1 extra stratagem that's theirs, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I feel that's fine, in my opinion anyway. You will also pick a battle formation when constructing your army. These work like sub-factions of old and exemplify the way a specific force might do battle or represent the specific tactics it employs. But they are no longer tied to a particular colour scheme or location in the world, encouraging players to express their creativity and craft their own creations. Each faction pack, the decks of cards released alongside the new edition, contains 4 battle formations, so you can lean into particular strategies and experiment with new army options from the start. Unlike 40k, you each got 1 singular detachment.
Yeah.
Take the Thunderhead Host, which prioritises mixing and matching units from the various chambers with its Synchronized Strikes passive ability, empowering warrior chamber units in combat while they're within 12 inches of a unit from members of a different chamber.
Not all the chambers, though. Mwah!
Thunderhead Host passive. Passive means it's always in effect. Add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly warrior chamber units while they are wholly within 12 inches of any non-hero Stormcast Eternals units that do not have the warrior chamber keyword. +1 hit.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all right. That's fun.
Stormdrake Guard, Dracothian Guard, and other warriors and heroes of the Extremist Chamber often battle with a Lightning Echelon. Their oncoming Storm ability, conferring 1 unit per turn that strikes first effect in combat on a roll of a 3+. This kind of flexibility extends across the factions, and we'll be seeing more of what they can do when we come to the faction focuses next month. Lightning Echelon, once per turn, army, any combat phase, pick a friendly Extremist Chamber unit that charged this turn, roll a dice on a 3+, that unit has to strike first for the rest of the turn.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be digging into blah, 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 guts of combat phase and brushing up on the pious and profane as we examine the spell casting and prayers in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So I'll go out on a limb here, right, in terms of battle tactics and battle traits. My only concern with them is that they kind of were a bit, they're all right.
Yeah.
Now, on the plus side, I don't necessarily want to be blown away every time I see something new.
No.
Because you run the risk of faction creep and codex creep and all that kind of stuff. On the flip side, I was like, oh, you've got 4 battle traits for Stormcast, right? One of them is that you can put things in deep strike, and the other one is that you can deep strike. Like, that feels like that probably could be 1 battle trait. I don't know if it needed to be 2. Best Day Ever makes sense for Stormcast, the big hero like poster boys. And then returning a unit's cool. And then when I saw the army ability, +1 if you're within 12 inches, or you might get fights first on a 3+, I was like, these aren't game breaking.
No.
On the one side, that is exciting because they're not game breaking. On the flip side, I get mildly concerned. A big thing that gets thrown around about 10th edition 40k with the current detachments and formations is that it has a quote unquote, because it's not my words, lack of flavour.
Yes.
And I'm worried about whether this is going to be the same thing.
Yeah, like all Stormcast army, there's going to be a favourite pick, and that'll be the one that everyone takes. And it won't be because it's the most flavourful, it's because it's the most efficient.
Is that true for AoS players? I genuinely don't know.
It depends, isn't it, really? It's like one of those, like, are you playing for fun or are you playing for tournaments? Because if you go to a tournament, everyone would pick the same one. But then there'd be people that like to play with their friends will probably still pick the best one. Because they'll be like, I don't want to go around Tim's house and just get smashed
I wonder if some of it depends on the sort of units that you like. So I've seen plenty of Stormcast players, for example, who don't play Stormdrake Guard.
Yeah.
I love Stormdrake Guard because I like dragons. I now already think to myself, that particular army rule, right, where you get to a 3+, you get fights first, I can spend 2 CP to countercharge you, Jay.
Yeah.
And I count as charging. And then I can roll a 3+ and I get fights first.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. And then I can spend another CP and overrun.
Yeah.
Because it's probably got more health than you have.
But will Stormdrake Guard be more expensive to put on the table because of the things they have access to? So would you get less Stormdrake
Maybe,
Guard?
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, on the whole, after reading all the AoS stuff, I was like, when I read the command one before we sat down today, my gut was, this is fucking brilliant, I like it, right? I only had one question, and that was typically around the re-rolling charges. Granted, I did also have the question about, when do you do these other ones, and that's been clarified today. When I read the second article, I was a bit like, oh, that's it. Okay. That was my reaction. You've just listened to the two of them for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Like you said, it's just a bit meh. Nothing's mind blowing. Nothing's like. No, I like the fact that nothing is mind blowing, right? Because one of the problems that 9th edition 40k had, we're starting to get it in 10th edition, right? Is that not all armies are written by the same person, nor are they built equally.
Yeah.
Right? If you know everyone's rules, tactics are going to be a bit meh, you're like, cool, I'm not going to get destroyed by someone, you know? Whereas in 9th edition, if you look at like army secondaries, Necrons and Sisters and Flesh World Eaters, like, just do what your army does.
Yeah.
Kill something, stand somewhere, you get points.
Turn up, get max secondary.
And then some of them was like, stand on one leg, do a 100-yard sprint
on one leg.
Yeah. Like blind yourself in both eyes, and then try and knock out Mike Tyson, and you get 2 points. You know. And the Necrons is be in the deployment zone, 5 points.
Yeah.
You know. So by having everything be a bit, it's not groundbreaking. Like my army still got good abilities. You know you're not going to end up in those feel bad situations.
Okay.
Like the same thing with 10th edition 40k at the moment. You've got one good codex always gets released next to one not good codex. Seems to be the way every time now.
I think the big thing was for 7th edition to a point, 8th edition almost definitely, 9th edition 100%. We saw a significant amount of codex creep throughout the editions. And I think that people have kind of, dare I say this, for fear of getting fucking screamed at again, I think people have kind of got used to codex creep and so kind of now expect it.
Yeah.
So when their codex is the next one to come out, whether that be Custodes or whether that be Chaos Space Marines, or whether that be Orcs, and it's not the most broken thing ever, they're a little like, oh.
But it's like a full sine wave at the moment.
I mean, it's all over the place.
I am so terrified of the Chaos Codex coming out.
Yeah, I know you are.
I have got a level of stress that I didn't know I could feel about a Codex coming out, right? Because I'm like, the complete mistreatment of Chaos Space Marines in the last 3 years is all over the place, and I'm like.
We must be moving into the realms, though. We must be slowly but surely moving into the realms of codexes now, for 40k at least, that have been finalised and signed off after 10th edition is launched.
Yeah.
We must be getting close.
I honestly, I don't know, because like with the Chaos Space Marine Codex, I don't want it to be, like, if it's AdMech, I'm worried I will just quit Warhammer. Just entirely. I'd just be like, I'm AoS now.
That's a problem for us, chap, by the way.
Yeah, right. If it's broken good, like it was in 9th edition, where it was just flat too powerful, that's also bad.
Yep, agree.
Because everyone will jump on the Chaos Space Marine hype train. It'll be really, really good for 3 months, and then Games Workshop will hit it with a lot of hammers. Yeah. And then we'll be in the position we are now, where it's just flat bad.
On the flip side, with Age of Sigmar, we look at the battle tactics, the battle traits and battle formations they've shown us.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, everything's all right. So it's not like when they showcased Space Marines for 10th edition and we went, armor, what? You can do, not Armour of Contempt, you can
Armour of Contempt for every single
attachment. It was the other one, wasn't it? Their main rule that they do.
Oh, Oath of the Moment.
You can do what with Oath of the Moment?
Yeah, and it's kind of like, so if you're an AoS player and you're like, well, Stormcaster come out, Skaven come out, their battle tactics are a bit meh. I'm not worried about Soulblight coming out. They're not going to be too powerful because so far, what we've got is actually not bad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm inclined to agree. Right, chat, we've only got a few moments. We're on 78 of the finest gifted memberships. That's 22 to go before we hit that magical 100. Do you think you could do it for Joe's birthday stream? Not quite his birthday stream, his anniversary stream. Can you do that? 22 more members, chat. If there is over 200 people, so if 10% of you gave one, we'd probably do it. If 20% of you gave one, we'd definitely do it. If 10% of you gave 5, we'd be almost double it. If 10% of you gifted 50, we'd be amazing. If 5% of you gifted 20, we'd also do quite well.
Yeah. I might get a second bacon and egg baguette.
I might buy Joe some custodians that aren't Luris custodians.
Thank you, War Master Will. I want Guard Codex, but now looking at World Eaters.
Do you know what? I am really enjoying playing World Eaters. I'm really enjoying playing Dark Angels. Do you know why? Because they're easy to play on the tabletop. They're easy.
Yeah.
They're not difficult.
Honestly, we played a couple games on Sunday. I ran Chaos Space Marines and got ruined. And at the same thing. I'm really excited to put my Chaos Space Marines on the table. After turn 1, I have no Chaos Space Marines left. And then I try and do something.
Paddy did play Montcar Tau for reference.
Yeah, but it's like the same kind of thing happens a lot of the time. You put Chaos Space on the table, they don't really do much, right?
Yeah.
And then I ran Flesh Terrors. I just run at my opponent and chop stuff up. It was great. And it's like, why does this army play like the army, like how I want my other army to play?
Yeah, I'm just enjoying myself. So, Will, if you're thinking about grabbing World Eaters, first of all, Berserkers specifically, gorgeous models. Lord on Juggernaut, very pretty model. 8-bound seems to be Marmite. People love them or hate them. I don't hate them. I think they're okay. They're just fun as well. They're just great. And even things like the Jackals, nice little kits.
Stunning models.
Yeah, I know you hated painting them.
Honestly, building and painting 20 of those was soul destroying. I had this discussion with Peachy when he was here, but we didn't air it. I was like, can you tell me why Games Workshop makes 5-point models look like chapter masters and Primarchs? Why is there more detail on a neophyte
Do you know why?
hybrid?
Do you know why? Because they no longer sculpt like this, Joe. Just do it on a computer. Really easy to do on a computer.
Yeah. But they don't think about the people that have to paint 40 of them.
No.
That's just...
No.
And then a Space Marine is just square, curve, flat surface, done.
Yeah.
World is looking great. Thank you, Electman. AoS doesn't have strategic reserves. Scions essentially gives half the units in your army deep strike. Each one you deploy gives another deep strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Potentially, yeah. So if you pick a unit and put it on the table, that's the first one you've deployed. The next unit you can put in deep strike.
Yeah.
You pick another unit to put on the table. Next one you can put in deep strike.
Yeah. So it means that you can essentially have less than half, just under. It'd be like 49% of your army could be in reserve.
What I'm interested in is how it works with things, because I think, if I remember rightly, I think that when you deploy a regiment, you deploy the whole regiment as one, right? I'm sure that's what they said. But this says when you pick a unit. So if you deployed a regiment on the table, which is a character and 2 units, does that mean you can put 3 units in deep strike and you could put a whole regiment in deep strike?
Maybe only auxiliary units then.
This is what I don't understand. Yeah. It might be that I'm missing something from the way the rules interact with each other, but I'm pretty sure regiments deploy as one. Does that mean that if I put a regiment on the table, I can put a regiment in deep strike reserve?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
What? Tom's? I mean, I don't think he's buying any codex for £10.
Tom Mitchell, take the money I would have spent on the Custodian's Codex.
Where are you getting codex from? 10 quid, Tom?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Just printing them off, I suppose.
Yeah. Thanks for 10, Tom. You're a hero.
Thank you. You are a wonderful beast. Yeah. Thank you, Bio Big Daddy, for 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Arctic Ocelot, for 1.
That's a great name.
Membership. Yeah.
That's 80.
Thank you, Dang Skippy, for 1 gifted membership.
Yes, that's
Thank
81.
you, Glade Lord Perez, for 1 gifted membership.
That's 82.
Thank you, Evan Tuminello, for 1 gifted membership.
83.
Thank you, the Cooney, for 1 gifted
84.
And then they stopped.
Oh.
We got you right to the edge. And then left.
Bit of edging.
Yeah.
16 to go. That's 3 5s, 1 1, or 1 10, 1 5, 1 1, or 16 ones. or 120? There's 5, Joe!
Thank you, DJDM0713.
Thank you for the 5, man. What a legend. That's 89. 11 to go, Joe.
111.
Currently, if you have a 1-drop army, you can still put half of it in deep strike, so I think it'll just be unit by unit. Okay, cool. I'm sure it will be clear.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work yet, because I don't currently play 3rd edition, really, so I'm a bit lost with it, right? Do we think AoS 4 rulebook will come with its own codex to explain it?
I really hope it doesn't come with an 18-page clarification, because I think that's not how you kill an edition. It's how you really put someone off an edition from the beginning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christopher Sanford, for 10 gifted memberships.
Chris,
thank you,
so
Neil Woodall, for 5 gifted memberships.
10 gifted memberships is incredibly generous, Chris. Thank you so
You
much,
are
man. You're an
both
absolute legend.
Splendid creatures.
You are splendid creatures.
In fact, everyone that has gifted today is a splendid creature.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony Wick, for 1 gifted membership. 1 is as good as 10.
No, it's
and
not.
We love you.
It's not, Jay. 1's amazing and it's generous. It's not as good as 10.
Thank you, Brendan Liggins, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Razor Wolf, for 1 gifted membership.
You see who got?
Paddy, you owe us a membership. He doesn't watch our show.
Paddy got gifted, yeah.
Thank you, all of you. If you have received a membership, go and join our Discord, !Discord in chat or in the description below. If you have given a membership today, go and buy yourself a cream egg.
Yes. Yeah.
Treat yourself.
And
It'd be
Paddy's the one that I make pay it forward as well. I don't make you and Kyle pay it forward because you're both poor, but I make Paddy pay it forward. Yeah.
I've kept my mouth about how many I've received.
I'm aware, yeah. I'm very aware. I've got a little tick chart at home.
Have you?
Yeah.
This is why I got lots of tickets.
You're currently on 4.
I know.
You've had 4 gifted that you've not
When I
paid
get to
forward.
100, nothing will happen. Right. Thank you. Alec Man. You deploy a regiment as a single drop. Each unit in the regiment is still separate. A drop represents what you deploy before your opponent deploys.
Right, so, okay.
What's a wonderful clarification. Thank you.
So what I understand then is if you deploy a regiment, which is a character and 3 units,
Yeah.
you can go, I'm deploying this now in 1 drop, right? So I'm going to put character down, unit down, unit down. I've got 3 on the table. This one, deep strike reserve now. Right? That makes sense, yeah?
Yeah.
So I think, if you've got 4 units in a regiment, you could actually go character down, unit in deep strike, unit in deep strike. Because for both those units you put in deep strike, you've got more on the table than you've got in reserves.
Yeah.
That's actually really good then. And then I've done my 1 drop. I've got my 2 characters on my 2 units on the table, my 2 units in deep strike reserve. That's my 1 drop. Your turn to do your drop. That makes sense now. That makes it really easy.
I like it.
There you go. Really, really
Rachel
easy.
says, I'm a filthy Australian.
Are you?
Does that mean that your cream eggs are full of spiders?
Does that mean we're the wrong way up for you? Sorry, mate. Sorry. Thanks, Elect for the 5 anyway. Honestly, I have an inherent urge right now to build a Custodes army because everyone is hating on them. And there's something very hipster about Joe and I, where when everyone's like, it's the worst thing ever, a little part of me wants to make it. The only caveat with AdMech was 1, they're so unbelievably shit, and 2, is a billion models. So at least if I build a Custodes army with the new terrible codex, it's not a billion models.
What's mad about the AdMech situation is they can't make the models any cheaper to put on the table.
Yeah.
Because then it's unfeasible to play the army.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've literally got more models on the table than an orc player.
Yeah. So I'm like, with Custodes, I'm like, if it ends up being something that I actually hate, it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the biggest investment in the world.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. So I want to do that. That aside, I am so enjoying my Stormcast and my Lumineth Realm Lords at the moment. And articles like these, I'm just very excited for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for 4th edition. And I need to I have a real genuine desire to work out how I fit games of Age of Sigmar into the channel schedule, because from my perspective, I don't know how hungry the audience is for 4th edition Age of Sigmar or whether the views will hit the same as 40k. But from my selfish perspective, I just really want to play it. I just really want to play it.
We should play it after this.
We haven't got time, Joe. Let's set the stream up and get ready for Custodes. Which chat have said 59% Liam should play, but I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to chat anyway, so we'll still have...
I could do our last time, just sit here and watch. In my pants.
Again. I can play Custodes, I don't mind. I'm easy. But there's no game on... who's playing next week? Do you know?
I don't know. I put myself down for every stream, and then Liam just took me off them all.
We can't do every stream, Joe. Well. You also asked for nights off after you put yourself down for every single stream.
I did. I asked for 1 off a month, and he was like, cool, I'll take that as all games off every month.
Yeah.
But we don't...
But the less games you do, the less I have to pay you. So, you know. Right, so next Tuesday and next Thursday, you're on both next week, both games.
Both games?
Yeah. On Tuesday, it's Joe versus Brom, Chaos Space Marines versus Orcs.
Yeah.
A little warning. I know for a fact he's picking the double wild attachment just because he's playing you. And then on the Thursday, it's me versus you, no armies yet down.
Okay.
And then on the Tuesday after that, it's you versus Brom again.
Oh.
Because that one is my wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
I won't be here.
Oh.
No, I won't be here. Right, cool. I'm exceptionally excited for 4th edition Age of Sigmar. Hopefully you guys are as well. I might put a little poll out something soon about if people want to see the games. But I think people do kind of want to see games on the channel. So
I think people do. Also, selfishly, we don't want to lose the hype.
Well, Gyro, not too hyped for AoS, but would rather watch it over 40k. That's interesting. Genuinely. We've got another super chat, Mr. J. Crumpets Panda.
A part of me feels like turning the Knave Black Talon box into a couple of Custodes characters. It looks kinda dope.
I really want. I really want to go to Warhammer World on some point soon and pick up or order it from Forge World. I like going to Warhammer World to buy Forge World now. Do you know why?
It's like a little journey.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because you can look at it before you take it out of the building.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's straight.
Yeah, it's like, it's not.
Yeah. So I really want to go there, and I really want to pick up that guy that you spoke about.
Ixian Hale.
That one, who you can only get from Warhammer World.
Yeah.
And I want to pick up the other Shield Captain, which is currently showing out of stock on Games Workshop's website.
Yeah.
So sometimes if it's out of stock on the website, you can get it at Warhammer World. And I also want to pick up the Special Land Raider with all the extra filigree on it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would fit. That's Warhammer World exclusive.
Yeah.
And I want to grab, what's his name? I mean, you can order this guy online. What's his name?
Jarvis Johnson.
£80 man.
Oh, Valdor.
Yeah, Constantine Valdor.
I really want Lucius the Eternal.
So I really want to go to Warhammer World and pick up Special Warhammer World Land Raider, Ixian Hale, Individual Custodies Shield Captain, and Big Spearman, Constantine Valdor. And then I looked at how much that all costs. And I was like, nope. No. But you know, maybe if you super chat, more chat. Anyway, right, you people have been wonderful. We are 10 minutes over normal stream time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, you beautiful human beings. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. Thank you to everybody who gifted memberships. Big shout out, obviously, to John McCardle on his 50 gifted. What a legend. If you have been gifted membership and you haven't already, ! Discord, hit the link, go into Discord, connect your YouTube account to your Discord account so it recognises that you're a member of this channel, and then it will open up the whole of Discord. It looks massive and impressive, only if you unlock. If you don't unlock by linking, it won't look so impressive. It looks like it's really, really tiny. That's what I tell her. So do all those things, get yourself in Discord. Join us tonight at 7:30, not AoS, but 40k, and it's Custodies versus Orcs. And Brom has decided to bring the Dread Mob detachment thing, you know, where he rolls an individual dice for every unit that attacks.
Honest to God, I don't think he could have picked anything more to slow him down.
Yeah.
I think we just run nothing but individual characters.
We've got the list. We've done the list already.
I know.
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to play rather than your crazy thing that you wanted to do, right?
I wanted to take a Land Raider and just fill it with Shield Captains.
You did, yeah.
That's what I was going to do, yeah.
So look out for that tonight at 7:30. Tomorrow, we are, for Wednesday and Thursday, our schedule changes, okay? So tomorrow at some point we'll go live. I'd imagine, I'm hoping it'll be around 5:30, 6-ish in the afternoon, evening, right? And we'll be live for about an hour and a half because then Joe and I aren't going to be around after that. But we'll be doing it from here. It'll be him and I again sat here on Wednesday. Thursday, there's no streams. Friday, we'll be back with more streams.
Yeah.
You probably will find me on Friday daytime, maybe, or Saturday daytime, building some custodians on the stream. Like, ha, because I think that would be funny. And then in the evening on Friday, we're back with 40k After Dark. So we will end the stream with the 40k After Dark, I promise you. Right? Cool. Happy?
Yeah.
Should we make some tea? I want some tea.
Yeah, I think I might have a coffee.
Oh, I'm into that. I'll make some coffee. I'll make some fancy coffees. You people are wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Smash that like button if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.